What's up, everybody? James Strickland here. Welcome to week one on my road to 2,100 pounds and my continuation of my road to 700 pounds on bench. I am going to do a compilation here of pretty much all 4 days this week, just to make things easier since I've got all the 3 main lifts. Starting this week off is 555 for a triple. All reps are paused unless otherwise noted. The recap real quick with the last meet a month ago, did 672 and just missed the lockout twice on 702 for bench. Went to the animal cage, had a good time, and came back pretty strong. Put up a 700-pound deadlift last week and a 655 very easy high bar squat. So numbers are looking really, really good to put up at least 2,100 at the next meet, June 2nd. This next set is 495 on the bar. This is 6 sets of 3 speed reps. So this is a total of 21 reps over 500. 495, it's 18 reps. This is working on really just exploding off the chest. Really working, not too heavy a weight. Obviously, we hit the 555 earlier, and that's just to kind of cause a little bit of a pre-fatigue, so that I get some volume in here without actually going too heavy. 495 is definitely not heavy for me, but when you add in as many reps, set after set after set, you can start kind of seeing here on this set and after. The speed slows down just a hair. Fatigue is definitely set in. I actually did lower the pins down from the last set to this one. It was a little bit too high, especially getting fatigued. The less work that you have to do during the set, the better. Really focus on moving the weight. Let's see, I got one more set here. My body weight is sitting at about 289 on this particular day. Into the week, I was about 287. Of course, I'm just doing this voiceover on a Saturday after 4 heavy days this week. Moving on here, I've got 2 sets of incline with 365. This wasn't too terribly heavy, but of course, with all the volume before, I'm pretty fatigued, even at this point in the workout. So basically, the Road to 2100 series is going to be once a week video that encompasses the Monday heavy bench day with accessories. Tuesday I take off. Wednesday I come back in and hit heavy squats and lower body accessories. Thursday is my lighter, I wouldn't say necessarily chest because I don't hit too much chest on that day. But it's definitely some shoulders, back, and upper body accessories. And then Friday, I hit my heavy deadlifts with some more lower body accessories. Moving on here, this is inverted rows, body weight. It's 6 sets of 15. The first 3 sets moved really, really well. Wasn't too worried about it. But lactic acid definitely built up in the lats and rear delts. But this is exactly what we want. It doesn't take a whole heck of a lot of weight to induce this type of fatigue. So really working on squeezing here at the top and getting this motion in. Definitely a good back exercise without taxing it with too much weight. Obviously with full power in full swing here. The seal rows, the back, the lat pull downs, squat, deadlift, we're hitting back every single day. So it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot of extra back work. Like this inverted row doesn't take a lot of weight. Like I said, my body weight's sitting at about 280. This is not a full 280 pounds that I'm feeling because obviously I've got my feet on the ground here, but definitely a good exercise. It helps stretch and kind of open up that chest after hitting bench earlier. So let's see, we've got 6 sets of this. And we'll move it on to dumbbell paused floor flies. This is with 60 pounds, 3 sets of 15. The first set, even if I warm these up quite a bit, is always a little bit tough. It doesn't look like it necessarily on video, but this first set was really a grinder, to say the least. The next 2 sets, they look exactly the same on video, but the weight moves a lot better. I'm really focusing on opening up the pecs and really keeping the tension on the pecs. There's no rest at the bottom. There's no rest at the top. There's constant tension. When I'm pausing, I'm actually just letting my triceps hit the ground and pause for a split second. This first set could actually be paused a hair longer, but first week back, fatigue is definitely a factor. You can tell that this set's definitely paused a little bit longer at the bottom. The point of that is to get a real good stretch in the pecs. This really opens everything up. I feel that this set here is a great substitute for not doing, obviously I do close grip bench all the time. I move it out a hair like this time of the season. We're 11 weeks out from the meet, so we're not too heck of a long time, but you know, the last training cycle when I was about 6 months out, I did move my grip out about 2 inches, but I slowly moved it back into my comfort zone. But these flies definitely help keep the pecs healthy. If there's any kind of weakness in any of the, not just the main muscle, but any of the connective tissue on the inside of the pec or on the outside where the shoulder meets, that's definitely where you can have some trouble if they're not strong. So these, I would say by themselves with the close grip bench is a great substitute. So let's see, I believe we have one more set here after these for the conclusion of the bench day, which is tricep rope, always a good staple of mine. This is called for 190 pounds on a decline. I didn't have that set up today, so this is actually 110 pounds on a straight rope, 12 reps for 3 sets. I put my elbow sleeves on just to keep the elbows. I can definitely feel them fatiguing and under the weight that I'm having to do now. So that keeps everything kind of healthy. I don't want any problems with the elbows going forward, especially you'll see in the next day I'm actually doing low bar squats. But that is pretty much the conclusion of day 1. I do take a rest day on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Pretty much complete rest. You know, obviously I have a life and I have a family, so I do get out and do things, but I'm not in the gym. I do not touch a weight. I might do some stretch bands, definitely some ice or heat as needed. I do get a solid 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night, and it's just necessary. So moving on, I've got squat day here. This is on Wednesday. My starting main set is 585 for a triple. This moved very, very easy. This is actually my first time doing low bar above 500. It was a little bit off just in my feeling, but the weight moved fine. I'm still trying to get the hang of feeling, I guess, you know, where the shoulders and the elbows are being taxed during the squat, but the center of gravity, me, you know, a little bit further back and down, definitely helped move the weight. So moving on here, I would actually consider this next set the next sets my main purpose of the day, and this is 500 pounds for 4 sets of 3, and these are speed reps, so I'm really working on firing out of the hole. The first rep there is always a little bit off, just getting under the weight, and moving on, I've got 3 more sets of this. These were pretty taxing. I took about 3 to 5 minutes rest in between just to make sure that I was fully recovered. I'm really working on the weight and not so much endurance at this point. You know, depending on the time of the training season, the further out I am, I actually take less rest and really work on getting a base built. This is, we're 11 weeks out. We're really working more of in a peaking phase. I'm just carrying over the strength. Like I said, I did 655 last week, so this is relatively very light, just working on moving the weight. We're going to be moving up in triples every week. My fatigue level from bench was actually still pretty high. My shoulders were definitely still sore. Chest and pecs, triceps were definitely sore. Legs are fresh, so that they're moving the weight just fine. But like I said, the low bar really did a kind of a number on me. This is actually Olympic squat, so a little bit narrow stance, high bar, and really keeping the head up, the body in an upright position. And this was 5 reps for 2 sets. Even though this was 375 pounds, it did feel very off. I could definitely feel it in the lower extremities, in the calves, in the quads, but definitely a great accessory to get some more volume in and move some more weight on squats. So the last set of this. And like I said, after my squat day, my next day is Thursday. I do squats on Wednesdays, so Thursday is my next upper body day. I have taken out bench on my second day just to make sure that I have enough time to rest the fatigue for the type of weights that I'm moving, especially with 21 reps at 500 pounds on Monday. The extra rest is definitely needed, but I still need to hit the upper accessories. This is a suitcase deadlift. It really works the obliques, the side muscles, the core, and definitely grip. This is 165 pounds, so not too heavy at all, but definitely awkward. So the grip strength and the obliques are definitely being felt. These I'm holding at the top for just a split second. I'll actually increase the hold time on each of these for each rep next week, but then the last rep I definitely hold on to that for a good 3 to 5 seconds just to build some grip strength. This is basically the finisher for the day. I do have some GHRs, but I did not get those on video. Sorry about that. And on this particular day, this was 2 days after I weighed 289 on Monday. I weighed about 288, 287 on this day. So I'm still staying fairly lean. My diet hasn't really changed much. I'm actually, towards the end of the week, I noticed that my weight kept going down because of all the extra calories being burned and the weight and the volume. It definitely has been increased since the last meet. So I'm actually upping the calories a little bit. Portion sizes just a little bit bigger than normal. For example, like 2 weeks ago, I maybe have like 1.5 times the portion size now. I'm being a little bit more lenient on the sugars, on the sodas. I'm trying to stay away from too much Coke. I do like soda, but I'll do sweet tea just to get some sugar in there and to get the calories and caffeine. But so like I said, this is day 3. I did not get any video, but this incorporates a lot of overhead press. I did about 2 sets of 15, which wasn't very heavy, on barbell seated overhead press. Some supersets with 35-pound dumbbells where I do front raises, side raises, and rear delt raises, along with a few tricep and seated row accessories. So it was actually a pretty tough day. Day 3 is I was just really tired and everything hurt. So this is my last day of the week. I hit this on Friday. We're starting off with some 405-pound paused squats. This is 5 sets of 2 reps. I only got the last 4 sets here on video, and this is just a way to get things warmed up, get the back, the core, the leg drive activated, and also a way to get some more squat work in to increase that squat. So really working on, I did a side view here so I could try to work on form, sitting back and keeping those knees from pointing out too much in front and getting that butt back and down. Also to see the movement of the low bar. I definitely did low bar on this as well. Being 405 pounds, it actually was not heavy at all, but because of the week's volume and workload before this, these sets actually were pretty tough. Just doing them, I was, definitely, it was supposed to be a warm-up, but so this is my first set of heavy deadlifts. This is 605. The set is for a triple. I don't show the warm-ups on this, but I do warm up with about 315, 405, 5, and kind of move up from there. So I don't just jump straight from those pause squats into 600 pounds. Definitely take, I reset here in my feet, and you'll notice it actually caused me to stutter a little bit when I stepped up. That was basically due to my right foot being my left foot, sorry, being a little further back on that last rep, but nothing strength-wise. Moving on, this is the volume set for the day. It's 6 sets of 3 with 495. Really working on keeping that bar close and driving keeping the hips down. That's something that I've always been working on. Is I'm such a phenomenal athlete, strength-wise in the upper body, and my lower has always been kind of lagging behind. Is to really push through the ground with the legs and activate the legs versus pulling up with the bar. So that's something that's definitely improved, and it continues to improve. I would say, with last week, that 700 being about an RPE 8, that right now, with a proper deadlift bar, I'm sitting at about 750 as a true 1 rep max for deadlift, and continuing that. I'm actually looking to do at least that in the meet. I want to be smart about things and set up a good total. I don't want to go too far out of left field right now, but I think it is definitely possible to start looking at the 800 club for deadlifts pretty soon. I won't necessarily say it'll be at this next meet. I'd rather put a solid total up than stretch too far out and get too adventurous in my attempts. This is a 6 rep max. I decided to just kind of limit this today because I was pretty darn tired at this point after all the deadlifts and everything else. Went and did 315 for a set of 6 on those bent over rows. These are Cobra lat pull downs. You set up on an incline, and it's a little bit awkward, but if you do it right, you really can activate those lats. This is 130 pounds. And actually, I'm sorry, I did 135 pounds for 4 sets of 12 on each arm. It looks a little bit funny, but I assure you, it does work. You can do lat pull downs the traditional way, but it's just, I would say it's the equivalent of doing barbell versus dumbbell bench. You can really isolate a weakness on one side. If you tend to be weaker on one arm or one lat or the other, this is one way to kind of combat that. Notice on the videos here, I could getting a little bit better of a stretch up top. So the solution to that will be to pull the bench out about 3 inches further so that I can reach further up and get a nice stretch at the top. And like I said, these are a great alternative to lat pull downs, straight bar lat pull downs. They really activate the lats, and I can tell you these were done yesterday, and my lats today are sorer than they usually are, and it didn't take much weight. 130 on this is actually not a lot of weight. You can tell just by the way it's moving, but it's enough to activate those lats and definitely work that muscle. So let's see, what I don't have on here is the seated Zottman curls, which is basically just a bicep shoulder exercise. And I've got, let's see, 35s on that, 4 sets of 15. Those are pretty tough. I actually did cut down the weight and I did 20s for 2 sets of 10. Like I said, the fatigue was really built up on this particular day. I was really focused on getting the main lifts and the volume out of the way. And then moving on to the accessories, of course, they are extremely important. But considering this is the first week back in a long time that I have done full power, especially at the volume and weight intensity that I brought this week, I am overall very happy with the progress this week. Everything will be stepped up a notch next week. Basically everything that you've seen this week will be done next week with some added weight. We're adding about 15 to 20 pounds on the main lifts, and the accessories are about the same. The last exercise of this week is a pretty simple one. It's called landmines, and this is with 45 pounds. And you basically take a barbell, put it in a corner or up against something that you can kind of pivot on, and you move it from side to side. You'll see that here in a second. And did 3 sets of 6 on that. Very easy, but definitely works the core and can definitely help your core stability and the obliques it'll stretch your shoulders pretty well. That's also a good movement to kind of loosen up the shoulder blades and anything that might be sore. Here's what I was talking about. So real simple movement, but you don't need a lot of weight on it. I mean, I'm sure I could put 200 or 300 pounds on this and move it, but it's not about the weight necessarily. It's about the movement and keeping the core tight. But that is about it for the week. Like I said, I will recap weekly with the main lifts and any kind of changes that might come up. Feeling very, very good about the meet. This is just the time of the season and the time of the meet training where the volume does kick up a notch and tires you out. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. I think we've got well over 3,000 subscribers now, and I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Please check me out on Instagram at SwimHack, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.